Dennis. Dennis says, "Dear boys." It's nice of him when he calls us boys. I like to think of us as big, rugged men, really. But, you know, what can you do? Well, I'm a big, rugged man. You're Ian Collins, so...
Yeah.
You defy description.
Correct.
Dear boys, I was looking outside my bedroom window the other day, and I'm sure I saw something in the sky which I am almost convinced was an alien spaceship. However, the following day, I was unable to find anywhere where I could report such a phenomenon to the authorities. Can you help?
No. Actually, we can.
Well, we're not ufologists, are we?
But we've had enough of them on.
Yes.
Who've explained. They did, because Nick... In fact, no, not Nick, because we've had Nick Pope on.
Yeah.
And Nick was the last person to work on the UFO desk. Nick Pope was essentially the that closed it.
Yes.
So, there's no use talking to him. Hang on, Andre! Get us... It was Tony, was it? It was Tony Topping.
That was Tony, yeah.
Get us to Tony Topping. Punch up his number. Because he knows stuff about... You got a ringtone. He knows stuff. We'll find out here.
Yeah.
Hello?
Tony, it's Ian Collins and Kev.
Oh, Ian!
Hey.
Listen, we know you always listen, and we thought, look, it's important that we get you on for this, because there's a certain amount of confusion. We had an email from, who was it, Kev? Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis woke up the other day, or was about to go to bed the other day. In fact, we're a bit unsure about Dennis's state of mind, frankly. However, Dennis said that he looked out of his window and he saw... A craft. Now, he was a bit silly here because he called it an alien craft. He doesn't really know whether it was or not, but it was a UFO. And he was perturbed that he had nowhere to report the sighting. Now, we've talked about this before because there used to be a UFO desk.
They did.
There now is no UFO desk, but there are more sightings than ever. Is that right?
Yeah, that's basically it, matey. Just off the top of my head, I think the UFO desk was closed in 2009 because it served no defence purpose and was taking staff away from more valuable defence-related activities, if I can remember the quote verbatim. And there has been some newly released files on the subject, but I think it caused much intrigue, because certainly the government, was intrigued by the phenomenon, as well as the public. I think what we have to be careful with, and I was out with a film crew last week, and what they had a job on perceiving was when I said UFO, they thought I meant an alien was flying over me, and I didn't. I actually meant a UFO as in an anomalous phenomenon, a UAP, a UAP, which the MOD did something called Project Condign, which investigated this as to be an atmospheric phenomena. There is an organisation called NICAP who has done pilot procedures for for what appears to be UAP, which is really UFO. So, what we've got to think about is the fact that some of these are atmospheric phenomena, some of it could be test drones, all that kind of thing. The thing, though, with the MOD, I think, is that the MOD will know where they fly their kit in. They have designated top-secret fly zones across the country. And me being a bit clued up on air traffic control and things like that, these things that appear are off-sector. It could be an atmospheric phenomena of that, there is no doubt, but the 10% that is there is possibly something not of this earth and under intelligent control, I do believe.
Okay, but do you think then, is it significant that they closed the UFO desk, so now people who have seen something more than a Chinese lantern, it's not a 747 on its way to Malaga, it's clearly something else. The fact that there's nowhere to report that kind of cuts the conversation off there and then.
Well, yeah, you see, I think in fairness to the MOD, dare I say, they do have a slight point that it would have been draining resources, but the thing is, Ian, is that the MOD have now military data. They have enough military data to sink a battleship about UFOs. Most governments, including Russia, definitely Russia and India, know what UFOs are all about. They've known for probably since about 1960, 1970 as to what these things are, of which probably 10% are under intelligent control.
Do you think then that the authorities have got data just on unidentified objects, or do you think they've got data that proves to them that these objects do have another species flying in them and there is life elsewhere?
Yeah, there is data among government, I think, Ian, that would perceive that there is intelligent life forms and that they are flying elsewhere. But it probably is about a 10% kind of thing, whereas the remaining 90% will be atmospheric phenomena, will be the Chinese lantern, will be an aircraft and all that kind of thing. But it's this 10% that is being closely closely watch. I mean, there is the theory, the school of thinking in a lot of cases that during 1940, etc., etc. I'll tell you a little story in a minute, but during 1940, for example, Germany was aware of the fact, Nazi Germany was aware of the fact of these UFOs coming from Antarctica. And Britain was involved, before America was, in something called Operation Tabalan, which involved operations against mysterious goings-on in Antarctica that involved UFOs and what was termed the Polar Men.
The Polar Men?
The Polar Men, yes.
Wow.
There's a story in, and it's on the internet, an officer of the special boat squadron gave a testimony, and he gave it 4 years later and didn't change his story, that he had been dispatched from the Falklands for special missions into Antarctica to do with the fact that a marine unit had been attacked by what could only be described as polar men.
So do you think then, when world leaders get together, so when Putin meets Cameron, he says to him, what do you think about the latest batch of aliens then, Dave? And Dave says, yeah, we got the Cadbury Smashmen this week, I noticed. Do you think there's that they have those conversations on the basis that the other knows what's going on?
Yeah, I think Cameron has been fully briefed.
Tony, can you let everybody know where they can find out more about the sort of stuff you do and research?
TonyTopping.co.uk, and also another one to do with psychic espionage, which is RV Events. That's rvevents.wordpress.com.
Tony Topping!
Topping!
Tell you what, I told you. You want a straight answer? Topping's the man. You can't top Topping.